Hello, and here we are with a conversion of OutRun on the Commodore 64. I think the 64 version came late, for Christmas '87 I think it came out. It's, yeah, as you'd probably expect, it's not arcade perfect. I don't think anybody could really expect that, but well, it would be nice if it even resembled the arcade version, which I'm not really sure it does. I mean, it's plenty fast enough. I mean, I think that's quite fast. I think the road routine is okay. I think I mean, the road slides left and right, which is more than a lot of games, race games used to do. Unfortunately, the perspective of the road doesn't change, but that's just purely down to the 64. It just doesn't have the CPU power to render that sort of road. So this is the compromise that we get, and it's okay. The other cars are a bit naff, I must admit. I mean, your car's not great. It doesn't really look like the Coin-Ops Ferrari. And as you can see, the little badge at the back changes. Is mirrored as you move left and right, which I think is a bit odd. But now here we are on to stage 2. Now the eagle-eyed games player may have noticed that I didn't actually pick a fork in the road to pick that route, because one of the things about OutRun and the coin-op is that you pick your route at the end of each stage, and I think that's one of the key elements of the game. Unfortunately, there are no forks in the roads on the 64 version, which I personally find a little strange for a conversion of OutRun. Instead, what we have is a choice of 5 routes, and before we load the game, we decide which route we want to take. And if you put it in cassette, you would have to play the game 5 times and jot down the tape counter number of whereabouts each route was. I mean, I guess if you couldn't get it all in one load, which I suppose you couldn't really, 64K, the programmer, that's the only way. It's not the only way you could have done it, but there's one way you could have done it. Now, the Spectrum version, certainly on the 48K Spectrum, you do have the forks in the roads, but you have to forward the cassette back and forward to find each location. Each route is broken into, I think it's maybe about 15 different sections, and you have to forward to section number. You get told to forward to section number 3 or something, or section 5, and it will tell you which one it's found recently. If it's found in section 4, then you can fast forward the tape a little bit. It's a bit clunky, to be honest, but it works. I mean, it gives you the forks in the roads, but it's not an ideal way to do it either. So I guess the programmers, they were a little stumped in terms of a cassette multi-load. It was always going to be rather difficult to deliver a good OutRun experience. So I'll cut the programmers some slack there. What I can't cut some slack in is, or the graphics artist, is some of the colour schemes, which I personally find quite horrible. I mean, that's a piss yellow road, and we have shit brown roads later on. I have no idea why you chose some of these disgusting colour schemes, but and the other cars, they're not that well defined, but at least there's a few of them on the road at a time. I mean, I think there's up to 3, which is more than can be said for a Turbo OutRun, the sequel game. In fact, I think it's 4. I saw 4 cars there on the road. So you know, it's quite well programmed from that point of view, I think. And if I can be honest, I'm on stage 5, which is basically the last stage. I'm going to complete it. If I can be honest, as a game in its own right, I think this is a playable enough race game. You know, it's. But but as a conversion of OutRun, I think it's a bit of a failure, especially as we have no forks in the roads. You can't pick your route. If you can't select your route, then it's not OutRun as far as I'm concerned. But as a game in its own right, I think it's okay. It's not one of the best race games in 64, but it's certainly far from the worst. I think, I mean, I quite enjoy playing this. And the bridges are alright here. I mean, you know, everything moves well enough. I think, just run out of time before the end. I think I'll give this 6.5 out of 10, because I think actually it's an okay game. It's just not a great conversion. That's all for now.